So hello, welcome again back to In One Day. And today's an excellent day. We're going to be talking about empowerment today, and some of the things that you can do to kind of change your life and really take hold of it in an energetic fashion. But before we get to all that, we got a couple of things going in the show today, and I just wanted to touch base. So how are you? What's new? What's going
Great.
on?
I'm awesome.
Awesome, exactly. We need that
Yeah.
energy. You need that fire to really get
Yes.
something going.
And you
So
know why I'm awesome? Because really, my energetic level has gone through the roof.
mhm,
I'm vibing at like this high energy. And
yes,
I decided at the new year that I'm manifesting all my dreams into reality.
hmm,
I have a visionary board. I've been just like eating, sleeping, breathing my dream.
excellent.
And I could tell you everything that I've been working for like 5 years
Hmm,
is coming to fruition. I'm so excited. Not just our show,
right.
but I have a charity that we're going to talk about
Yes,
later.
absolutely.
And
Hmm.
that's coming, and my relationship's doing better. My kids are doing better. My health, I feel like I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
Yeah, and they say 2023 is the magic number seven, and seven is supposed to be a transitional number. So this is the year to really take hold of everything, and really
Mm.
change your perspective, reflect inward, and start projecting that outward. So what you think and what you feel is really what you attract to yourself. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know that, right? So we're so accustomed to being in this box,
Yes.
but this is the time to really break out of it and really start making change.
And it is so true what you just said, because they say in the spiritual world that the last years before the number seven, like the last 3 to 5 years, have been super tough,
Hmm.
where a lot of darkness has taken over people's lives through COVID, the pandemic, political issues, a lot of people losing their lives, and
Hmm.
suicide and death. and
Absolutely, yeah.
and yeah, they say that when that darkness takes over, you have to dig really deep and get to love yourself and work through some really hard times that we've all been through. And then you get closer to the light for this year
Hmm.
to just get fruition of all different avenues of your life: health, wealth,
Hmm.
love, just an abundance of beautiful things. So stay positive. That's what we are going to talk about in a
Yes,
minute:
exactly, right.
empowerment. Because really, when you empower yourself, you change your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and it's not an easy step, but
Mm,
it's a step that we can all take. And the thing is, it's not major change. I think a lot of people, when they approach it, they think that they have to change their entire life overnight. But
right.
it's really baby steps getting through there and just really start recognizing those triggers for yourself, those things that may bother you, those things that kind of put your mind in a negative place, and then learning how to come out of that. And
Exactly.
whether that's through music, whether it's through dance, whether it's through painting. I mean, there's so many different things you can do to change your mindset and really put yourself on a positive path.
It's true. And it's one day at a time,
One
in
day,
one day.
exactly the basis of the show, right? I mean, just making change one day at a time, and you can make change in one day.
It's so true. So before we jump into our show,
Mhm.
let's talk about what's been going on with you.
I mean, just really busy. A lot of things going on. Obviously, we have the show and other business and things that are going on right now. So, outside of that, just enjoying family. Just really trying to make more time for things like that because I think all that stuff kind of nourishes your soul, right? So it just puts you
Mm.
in a better place. But outside of that, nursing my shoulder. I think we mentioned it before.
Yes.
So, damaged my rotator cuff, so I actually have
Mm.
to, or I'm considering getting surgery. So I'm getting a
Mm.
couple of different options, seeing what's out there. But one of the things we're going to talk about is some of the things you can do homeopathically to
Right.
kind of take care of yourself as well. But
And what we want from all of you, you have our website is
mhm,
live and
yes, it
running.
is. Mhm.
So check it out, in1day.tv,
Yes,
right?
yes, that's
Okay,
right.
get it right. And we have emails on there. So this is what we want from everyone
Mhm.
starting today. Give us your opinion. What do you think Eric should do? Should he have surgery, or should he take the homeopathic route, or maybe
Sure.
even the stem cell? What do you think about stem cell? What do you think about surgery? I really love to hear people's
Yeah, people's
opinions
opinions, absolutely.
before you make your own decision.
Of course. And I've so they told me about this PRP, which is this
Right.
new, I guess the stem cell, right? They spin your
Uh,
blood and they separate it and then they inject it and it's supposed to do, natural healing process. So I'm actually considering both right now to see which way I want to go. But, outside of that, I think, with exercise, strengthening the muscles around it, just making my just the stabilizing muscles stronger. I've kind
mm.
of reduced the pain. So maybe the PRP works for me.
Yeah, no, I never told you I'd done PRP
Oh,
before.
really? Okay.
And I'm going to give a plug to Dr. Louis Escobar. He's
Hmm.
a pain management specialist down
Sure.
in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
And I
Okay.
believe in Kendall and up here in Boca. I think he has 3 offices.
Hmm.
So I did the vampire facial.
Okay.
Kim Kardashian, of course, started it. So they drew my blood, put it in the machine,
Hmm.
got the bad cells out, good cells in, and then they put it all in my face and did like a facial to get like anti-aging and like plumpier skin.
Sure.
So I did it, I think 5 years ago,
Hmm.
3 or 4 times, and I did see a difference, but you have to keep up with it, and I kind of didn't.
And
So
pain free. You don't feel anything.
nothing,
Nothing like that.
zero,
Wow.
zero.
Okay.
But if you look in the mirror, you look like a vampire.
Right.
It's like blood all over your face, but no pain. It's like a facial. I don't know if you've ever had like, well, probably
Well, I've
not,
done facials, but I've never done anything to that
with
extent. But yeah,
needles,
with
like
needles, like
microderm
yeah, nothing like
abrasion or
that. No.
acupuncture.
Acupuncture, yes,
Okay, so
yes.
similar to that. It doesn't
Okay.
hurt at all. I believe in it so much.
Hmm.
So I think you should try it. That's my opinion.
All right, you can email us about that as well, and we'll see if
Yes.
I do that. But maybe it's a good, I can do it around Halloween just in case if I
Oh,
break
right,
out red, right?
exactly.
It works out perfectly. So, but I think you were saying that you had something as well with your back, right?
Yeah, so I have chronic lower back pain.
Hmm.
I have 2 herniated discs in my lower back, and I'm not sure exactly what number they are, but I know it's in the lumbar area. So I was told by the same doctor
Hmm.
that I shouldn't do spinning, I shouldn't do anything that's forward flexion,
Sure.
like deadlifts, and I do it all.
Right.
And I didn't listen to him. And this was 10 years ago. Now that it's 10 years later, I'm starting to feel it a little bit more.
Sure.
So
Of course.
I will start listening now. But I want to give a big plug to the company
Hmm.
that I use all their products. You could go ahead and maybe talk about it a little bit, and then I'll talk about the product.
About
Yeah,
the integrity
integrity,
brand,
because I
yes.
brought you there and you met
Yeah, I
Jonathan,
met
the
Jonathan.
owner.
Yeah, he's an excellent, excellent guy, and I think that he really has a lot of passion behind what he's doing, and that's what I enjoyed about it. In terms of the development of the product and what he's putting in his products, even down to the gummies, the flavor of the products, reducing the sugar in the product.
Mm,
So, just everything that I saw was excellent, and I have sampled some of the products, and I know that we have some here that you wanted to
yeah,
talk about. But I got excellent results from it. So
right.
I'm definitely a pro for everything he's put together.
Yes, he's a wonderful guy. Integrity Hempceuticals is the name of his company. And we'll also have that on our website. So you
Right,
could
that's
just
right.
click on the link. And if you order with our code, you get actually 50% off your first order, which
Oh
is
wow, that's
amazing.
great. Absolutely.
So I know that some of his products are a little bit more expensive because they're very high quality,
Sure.
but 50% off, you can't beat it. So I want to talk about the first one, which is a cream. And by the way, everything is CBD. There's zero THC in anything that he
Hmm.
has.
Right.
The gummies, the liquid, because I know a lot of people kind of freak out a little bit, like
Hmm.
me, that are like, is there THC? Because we
Right. Of
want to know
course.
what's in it.
Hmm.
So, okay, this is the cream, and I absolutely love this cream. There's 1,200 milligrams of CBD, and it's a cream kind of like BioFreeze, like
Hmm.
what are other ones that icy hot, like
Yeah.
something like that. So if you can't put too much on because then you're like on fire,
Right.
and
Of
then it gets
course.
really
And you don't want to get it
cold.
in the wrong spot
No,
either.
oh God, no. Be careful.
Right.
Brian will tell you a story about that. But anyway, so I rub it on my back every night before I go to sleep, and I'm telling you, it soothes
Hmm.
my back so much. But when I wake up the next morning, I feel a huge
Yeah,
difference.
and I've actually tried that one on my shoulder, and I
Oh,
got relief out of it because it was kind of difficult to sleep sometimes because you have that radiating pain. It's almost like a
exactly
stabbing
right.
pain. So I used it, and I actually got good results out of
Yeah. And Brian, my spiritual husband, he had back surgery. He had a 5 hour back surgery, very intense.
it. Hmm.
And this is his like
His go-to.
go to God sent
Hmm.
savior. He loves this. We must have like 8 bottles in our house. So definitely take a look at that one. Okay, so then we have 2 other ones here.
Right. So, we have the Integrity Hempceuticals Sleep Formula. So this again, this is a little dropper. You take a couple of drops, you put it under your tongue there, let it absorb. And since it's in liquid form, it absorbs faster. So
Mm.
it helps you get to sleep faster. And you have that combination of the melatonin and the CBD. So, you can get to sleep better. And then when you wake up, you don't have that grogginess. You're just ready to
Yeah.
go afterwards. And, you can't beat a good night's sleep. And if you need to heal, I mean, that's one of the first things you really should be working on. So,
Yes. And I want to just give a little story about this one. So I had 3 bottles in my house,
hmm
and one of my clients, I work where I live. I have most of my clients in the community where I live.
hmm
So one of my clients called me. She's in her 70s. She was so depressed and anxiety driven.
hmm
Something happened in her life with her daughter. She couldn't sleep. She came like calling, please meet me outside. We went walking. She was crying. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm having like
Wow.
really
Yeah.
bad thoughts. I don't even know how I can sleep, get through this.
hmm
So I gave her one of these bottles, and let me tell you something, she had the best night's sleep ever.
Wow. That's
And
great.
and she doesn't like melatonin because she's tried it before.
hmm
And she didn't like that like hungover feeling that you feel the next day sometimes
Right.
from certain melatonins. This one didn't give her that feeling at all, took her anxiety away and
Wow.
helped her to sleep. So that's a keeper, this
Yeah,
one too.
absolutely. And especially that, I mean, you consider the alternatives for anxiety right now. I mean, you have all these prescription grade drugs that are given,
Mm.
and of course, all those things have their side effects. So, I mean, really, CBD seems to be coming forward as something that you can take holistically.
Mm.
No side effects that I'm aware of, but of course, you should always consult with your doctor and make sure nothing interacts. But, definitely everything that I've tried from Integrity has been, very high quality and excellent.
Yes. And then this one I just brought along because this one tastes good, mint. And this one is also CBD. There's 1,200 milligrams. This one isn't really for sleep, it's just for body aches, like the cream. But this one's a dropper, so you're ingesting in your body. And it's also for anxiety. It
hmm
makes you a little bit more peaceful, relaxed. But it also really does help with joints and muscle pain. So these are my 3 favorite
Your
products.
go-to products,
Yes, I love
absolutely.
these.
And of course, we're going to be uploading all these products on our store. So if you go to the www.inoneday.tv, you'll see our store there. You'll see informational links, and then you can get more information on Integrity's hempceutical products. And really, just we definitely recommend it, and we think you should give it a try and
Mm.
see how it benefits you.
And right now, the code that we've been using is Lisa Bryan 11.
hmm
But Eric and I will come up with maybe in one day something.
Sure.
But for now, you could go right today and put in Lisa Bryan 11 and get 50% off your first order.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and put that on the screen as well so that you guys can see that and just jot that down, try it out, and use that code. Take advantage of that 50% off right on the beginning, and then see how it really works out for you.
Yes, you'll love it. Okay, let's talk about raising the energetic
Raising the energy,
vibes.
yes, yes.
Woo! What does Tony do?
He does the oh
Yeah,
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 something like
yeah.
that. I don't want to copy what he does.
I
Obviously,
know.
he's
We
he
love him. We just want
yeah
to say he's amazing. We both just watched a
yeah. We
five
both just
day
watched it.
seminar.
So, and ironically, we'd even discussed the fact
We
that we
did?
were going to do this.
Yeah.
So, it was just interesting to find out that we both did it.
Oh.
And we both got different perspectives out of it, but both
Mm.
positive, right?
Yes.
So I mean, just very high energy. I love the energy he brings to everything, and really that's what it comes to internally, right? So in order to make that change within yourself, you have to start with positive energy,
Mm.
and just really break yourself out of that mold of why is everything going so wrong? Why aren't things working out? I mean, you just got to change your mindset first in order to make change in your life.
Yes. And what I love what you just said, we honestly had no idea that we were both watching it at the
hmm
same time because it was like a set 5 days that I think 1.6 million people around the world
Yeah, I mean,
watched.
it's very impressive, absolutely.
Very impressive. But here's what I love is that you are such a highly intellectual man who's very well rounded spiritually,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
physically,
Yeah.
financially, emotionally, and so am I.
There you go.
Maybe not as an entrepreneurship as you are, but anyway, the point is we both were watching this because we know that knowledge is power, and we're not so high on our horse to
hmm
think, oh my God, we don't need more knowledge. We all need knowledge, and a coach, I'm coaching probably 10 people a week,
hmm
and you're getting into the whole coaching
Right.
aspect of
Absolutely.
things. But we coaches need coaches. Everybody needs a coach.
Yeah. and you just never, you should never stop learning. And that's
Exactly.
the big thing. And the reality is, as you're growing, as you're aging, your life is changing, the dynamics are changing. So you're going to have to find different ways to do different things.
Mm.
And so for me, I find it very important to constantly, read, see what's going on, new trends, new tactics, because obviously there's always someone out there that's learning a better way to do something. So
Mm.
why not keep on top of that and learn something new?
And I think that's our number one point about our topic today, empowerment.
Hmm.
How do you empower yourself? Through what we just said, knowledge.
Hmm.
Always know that there's someone out there who could teach you something. And when you're at a dinner table, and I don't know if you can relate, but in
Hmm.
my 20s and maybe 30s too, when I would talk about spirituality, I expected everyone to listen,
Hmm.
meditation, yoga. But then when other people were talking about things I should have been listening better,
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I don't need to listen to that. But then the older I got, the wiser I got.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? Let me stop talking as much
Hmm.
and listen more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listening is well, that's a key to communication, right? So really
Mm,
listening and taking in information, because if you're talking, you're not really paying attention to what's going on, and you're going to stay set in your own ways. And sometimes the universe, I think, delivers these messages to you. And if
mm,
you're just so focused on what you already think and what you already say, you're going to miss all these signals,
yeah.
and because ultimately, and one of the things that I really enjoyed
Mm,
that Tony had said is, he says life happens for you, it doesn't happen to you. So when you change your mindset and say, hey, these bad things aren't happening to me, these things are happening for a reason. So what do I have to learn out of this negative time, or this negative experience, to really turn myself around and make something positive about it?
so true. And another thing I love that he talks about is your state of being.
Hmm.
So, what is your state like? So, we were talking before we started this show about if you're on a date, are you going to be like, oh my God, I had the worst day. How are you?
Right.
Your
It's
first
going to
date.
start off
You
bad
know,
immediately,
the
right?
person will be like, get
Absolutely.
lost. You're going to be like, hey, how are you? How's your day? What's going on? And the more you can raise your energetic vibe, the other person raises theirs. So, like in Brian and I's relationship,
Hmm.
Brian's more subdued. He's an introvert. He's like, go with the flow,
Hmm.
kind of calmer. And I'm like the crazy, hyper, energetic one, but we're like yin and
Yeah,
yang.
yin and yang,
But
absolutely.
then I raise his vibe, and then sometimes I'll be like exhausted, and he'll raise my vibe. So raise the state of being that you're in every single day, whether you're feeling great or not.
Absolutely. And then the other thing to remember is, all negative times are temporary, right? I mean, if you really think about where you're at in your life and all the things you've gone through, you've been through it so many times. We all have been. And I know I can think back to so many different things that marked me. And at the moment, it felt like it was going to last forever.
Mm,
But, then ultimately, you get past that moment, and then you look back and you're like, man, I really made it through. And I was able to, take that pressure and really make something out of it. So, that's something to keep in mind, that it's always temporary. And again, just like the show says, in one day everything can change. So that next day when you get up, don't hang on to it. I mean, don't harbor it, don't hang on to it. Just really start taking steps to change and move forward.
yes, because when you let things fester inside of you, it eats you up alive.
Hmm.
So if you're upset at somebody, and that's one of the big signs of empowering yourself, forgiveness. If you're upset at somebody and you're dwelling over it and you're just always negative thoughts about that person, you're actually hurting yourself
Hmm.
more than the person. Not that you want to hurt the person, but it's hurting you.
Hmm.
So I love what you just said. Work through it, honor your feelings, face your feelings, but then let them go and move on because life is too short.
It really is. I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I mean, we go through our stages of life. You're toddler into high school, and you can't wait to get out of high school and get into work. And then you get into work, and then you realize you have no time because you have all this responsibility now. And I mean, time just does seem to slip a lot faster. But,
Mm,
going back to what you just said, I mean, gratitude is such a major piece
yes.
of changing your life. And I mean, really just looking at not the negative that's happening, but everything you should be grateful for, even though you're in that moment.
Mm,
So I have people I know that are struggling financially and things like that, and They focus so heavily on the fact of what they don't have. And I say, if you take a moment just to look at everything you do have, all of a sudden the perspective is completely different. I mean, you have a roof over your head, you have food on your table. This is going to pass and you're going to be in a better place, but you got to change your mindset to really get there and start attracting all that positivity to yourself.
Yeah. So right now, what I want you all to do is keep your eyes open, close your eyes, whatever you want to do. This is what I do after every class that I teach,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a boot camp, spinning, meditation, yoga, is just think of three things you're grateful for at this exact moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Think of three things you're grateful for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to think of three things. Okay.
All right.
Eric and Lisa in one day is
There you
one
go.
thing.
Yeah, the show is definitely one of them. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for the integrity products in my shoulder.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, but I'm sure we can all come up with three
Of
fairly
course.
quickly. And
And focus on those three
right.
things. Don't focus on what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on what you do have. Be grateful for it, and you'll attract more of those beautiful things.
Right. And I mean, and that's really the end goal. I mean, I think when you start looking at life positively, and I'm not saying that it's easy, but once you start changing that perspective and looking at it positively, all of a sudden you start seeing the positive in everything.
Mm.
And even in terms of relationships, and when you're talking about lack of communication, or hey, we're having arguments, things aren't the way they used to be. When you take a step back and really take gratitude and look at in the day and say, wow, today she did this for me, or today she did that for me, and oh, I never do that and she always does it and it's always ready. When you start looking at things from that perspective, you start realizing all the wonderful things that are there, and you start forgetting all those little nitpicky things that kind of set you off.
Yes,
So
it's so true. And watching Tony's 5 day event, I what I took away from it the most
mhm,
was my relationship with Brian, because we look for a person, not really, I wasn't looking for him to complete me because I feel very complete
mhm,
within myself, but I was looking to make him the way that I wanted him to be
mhm,
instead of accepting him for exactly who he was. And there's so many beautiful things about Brian, otherwise I wouldn't be with him.
mhm,
But I started focusing on the things I didn't like about him.
right,
And I'm such a positive look at the glass half full.
mhm,
But I don't know, when it came to relationships, I just was starting to focus on the things I didn't like, and then more things were happening.
sure,
And another thing Tony said, I started talking to my girlfriends and sharing it with them. And I don't know, even before I watched Tony's seminar, one day I woke up and thought, you know what? I'm feeding into these thoughts in
mhm,
my head. Let me not talk about them. Let me not think about them and focus on the good things. And the minute I did that, honestly, the energetic force of
mhm.
the universe, the energy, divine, whatever it is you believe in, changed, shifted, like the whole energetic field shifted the other way.
Right. And I mean, if so, and good point that you brought up there, because if you're focusing on the negative, you're essentially nourishing it, right? So I mean,
Exactly.
it's like if you plant something
uh,
and you're watering it and you're doing everything, it's going to grow. So if you're focused on that negative part, you're going to make that flourish, and all of a sudden that's what's consuming you, and that's where your focus is. And it can be the most basic thing that's coming at you, but you're going to react harshly, you're going to react negatively, because that's really what you've been nourishing within yourself. And that's the big change that you need to make, is really nourish the positive, love yourself in all aspects. Look at yourself in the mirror and really see what you're projecting to someone else, because we forget that we only see what's coming through our eyes, but
mm.
we don't see what we're putting out there. So sometimes it's great just to look at the mirror, look at yourself, and really embrace who you are and be happy with that.
Yeah, and I love to tell people, take the finger and stop pointing at the other person, point at yourself. And it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at yourself. And another very important thing, try to get rid of the toxic people in your life. And I know we talked about this before, but just to touch on it really quickly, toxic people will bring you down to a low vibing energy.
Right.
Surround yourself with beautiful people who are like Eric and I have been friends. We're doing this show. He watched Tony, I watched Tony. We're surrounding ourselves with each other. And I'm sure most of your friends and most of my friends are in the same realm of being. They want to
Mm-hmm.
uplift the world not bring everybody down. So be very careful, family members and friends and your significant other, who you surround yourself with.
Sure. And there's a great saying that I'll kind of end with here, and it says, you know, what's more important is not the family you're born into, but the family you create. And to me, that's a very, very true statement because you don't choose your family, and there's toxic people within your family as well. You know, so you'll find yourself disassociating with those people. But you know, there's friends that you have that are like family. I have friends
Mm.
that are like brothers and friends that are like sisters to me. That's the family you need to embrace. Those people that are there for you in the good and the bad, giving you positive feedback, trying to push you forward. I mean, that's what you really want to embrace in life and really nourish.
Yes, and what you just said about create the life that is meant for you. Don't settle with whatever's going on in your life right now. Know that you have the power to create anything your little heart and mind and soul
Absolutely.
desires. It's just putting one foot in front of the other and one day at a time.
That's right. So, this is all the time we have for the episode today. So, once again, please visit our website, www.inoneday.tv. You can email us through there. I think on each one of our pages, there's a contact tab. So, if you go to Lisa's page, it'll go right to her. If you go to my page, it comes right to me. And then there's a ton of information on there. Soon here, we're going to be putting some of the fitness programs that
Right.
Lisa has developed, some of the life coaching programs that we have as well. And we definitely welcome you to be a part of In One Day TV and take advantage of all the resources that we're putting out there for you.
So exciting. So raise your energetic vibe. Get up, go running right now, go walking, eat healthy, and stay positive. Have a beautiful and blessed day.
Thanks again.